I remember when my friend Amit quit his job at a small marketing consulting firm. You see, Amit had been outstanding, not just as a consultant, but also as a team player. He would double up as a shrink for his clients, he would go out of his way for colleagues, and he even bagged a few new clients for the firm, even though he didn't get a commission for it. At his farewell party, people said all kinds of nice things. You've been so helpful, we're going to miss you, we're going to keep in touch. But here's what happened. Within 12 hours, Amit's email access had been revoked and he was kicked out of the company's instant messaging group. He later said they had not been half as quick to give him support when he needed it while he was working there. About a fortnight later, the company moved into a swanky office and they held a grand opening for it. And no one invited Amit. As time went by, things began to sour between the firm and some of Amit's former clients because the consultants who took up the project were not competent enough. But within the firm, the gossip was that this was all Amit's fault, that he hid the problems so that he could appear smarter, and now he conveniently disappeared. You know what was Amit's reaction to all of this? He just shrugged. That's how he is. He gives 100% to everything he does and then moves on. But most of us would not have behaved like him. Au contraire, we would have been livid. We would have expected people to tell us how things were falling apart without us, not blame us for others' incompetence, right? And guess what? Work is not the only place where this happens. When we stop hanging out with friends, we wait for them to tell us how much they miss us. After a breakup, we wait for our ex to call or text us and tell us how miserable they are without us. And when we don't hear from them, we secretly end up stalking their social media profiles. I mean, it's so difficult for us to believe that people can have fun without us, that life can go on without us. And in waiting for others' lives to become miserable, we make ourselves miserable. What's really happening here? Why does this happen? The one word answer to this is attachment. We get attached to things, events, and relationships, or rather, to our thoughts and perceptions of them. The more we attach our identity to the company, to the friendship, or the relationship, the more effort we put into it without pausing to assess our level of control in that situation. The result is that we end up seeking validation from what we're attached to. We overestimate our importance. We begin to think that things cannot work without us. And we put all our energies in trying to control the outcomes that, frankly, cannot be controlled. And what happens when we try to control something we cannot? Well, you know. So, what is the solution to this? Swami Vivekananda has sage advice for all of us when he says, and I quote, all work is simply to bring out the power of the mind which is already there, to wake up the soul. The power is inside every man, so is knowing. The different works are like blows to bring them out, to cause these giants to wake up. End quote. In other words, use work as an opportunity to find meaning in your life. Work does not be an obligation that you have to fulfill forcibly. It can be an opportunity for you to grow, for you to get away from addictions and identity crises and move towards fulfillment. Coming back to Amit, he told me that fussing over what people thought about him was none of his business. He knew he had given his best and now he was going to move on. He ended up taking a vacation with his wife next, and when he came back, threw himself into a startup idea that he had been planning for. His family and the startup, even now, add meaning to his life. There is a difference between happiness and meaning. Generally, we crave happiness from external things or people, but that happiness is just as short lived, which vanishes like this. But meaning comes from contributing to something which is much larger than us. And the sense of happiness and fulfillment that stays as a result of it is far more long lasting than you can imagine. We generally end up asking questions like, why am I born? What is my purpose in life? What is the meaning of life? And all kinds of philosophies. But this is not your question to ask. This is a question that life is going to ask you. And how you behave and how you work is going to give the answers. Remember, you will be forgotten when you leave. Chasing appreciation and recognition for your effort is going to keep you stuck in the past. Chasing purpose and meaning is going to propel you forward. Which do you think is going to make you happier? Take action and move on. The fruit is not in your control, and there is nothing you can do to change that. Accepting this will save you a lot of heartache. Namaste.